Daniel Altman, Outrageous Fortunes, the 12 Surprising Trends That Will Reshape the Global Economy. In Outrageous Fortunes, Daniel Altman presents 12 surprising trends poised to reshape the global economy. The book explores China's economic growth, the potential dissolution of the European Union, the exploitation of natural resources in developing countries, global immigration concerns, the balance between communism and capitalism, the evolving role of the United States, the increasing importance of intermediaries, trade relations, the rise of lifestyle hubs, financial regulation, global warming, and the consequences of short-term political thinking. By demystifying complex economic concepts, Altman offers a user-friendly glimpse into the global economic future and the factors that will shape it.
The future of China's economy. China's remarkable economic growth has been marred by a lack of hospitable business climate, onerous financial and legal requirements, and a preference for traditional values over new ideas. Despite its impressive growth, predictions of China being the world's largest economy in 2041 may be too optimistic. China's one-child policy has also led to a decrease in its working-age population, potentially affecting the economy in the future. While China has thrived in the short term by assimilating foreign technology, longer-term factors imply imminent stabilization by 2050 and deceleration thereafter. China's economic growth prospects. China's remarkable economic growth has faced recent setbacks. However, studies suggest it could become the world's largest economy by 2041. The reality is that this projection is overly optimistic. China struggles with a hostile business environment that ranks low among countries. Its culture values tradition, collective good, and seniority over new ideas, whereas laws and education promote traditionalism rather than innovation. Corruption and a lack of transparency compound these issues, and the one-child policy's demographic impact could make it challenging for the working-age population to support aging citizens. Technology and techniques appropriation from abroad may be a short-term solution, but long-term factors suggest a slowing growth trend by 2050 and beyond. The future of the EU. Despite being an economic powerhouse, the 27-nation EU may unravel and disband with harmful consequences for the rest of the world. The EU's economies have followed vastly different paths, with some countries struggling after the 2008 financial crisis while others prospered. Corruption levels vary, and certain member economies depend heavily on agriculture, posing challenges for policymakers. Aging populations also raise concerns about pension obligations. The EU's unity is more likely to be expressed through foreign policy than through common economic ground. The pitfalls of resource extraction in developing countries. Many developing countries lack the infrastructure to extract their natural resources and resort to allowing foreign companies to do the job for them, leading to drawbacks such as politicians accepting upfront payments instead of future revenue and foreigners valuing quick profits over sustainable benefits. This modern-day colonization by state-owned entities can lead to loosely documented land rights and political unrest. Although the colonizers may eventually lose access to the resources, it's uncertain how far they will go to ensure their access. Ultimately, most of these relationships will fail. The pros and cons of immigration. Immigration can bring fresh talent, diversity, and lower wages to wealthy countries with aging populations, and countries with immigrants suffering brain drain and income inequality could benefit from help in creating local opportunities. However, immigration can strain public services and exacerbate cultural gaps, especially when unskilled workers take jobs from citizens. Some countries have devised policies to select highly skilled economic immigrants based on specific criteria, while others rely on numerical quotas. Without the right policies, labor forces in some nations risk stagnation and shrinkage. The flaws of extremes. Recent history has shown that pure capitalism and communism have their flaws, and social democracy may serve as a middle ground. Unfettered capitalism assumes that markets never fail and disregards human greed. On the other hand, communism leads to materialism and deprivation, leading to a corrosion of its ideals. Social democracy features strong safety nets, government control of specific strategic industries, and hefty business regulation. Although capitalist countries may transition towards social democracy, they commonly revert to capitalistic approaches. Permanent economic changes with equal access to opportunities are crucial for the success of capitalism. However, extreme approaches, regardless of the direction, only lead to further turmoil. The changing face of American jobs. As the American job market evolves, traditional manufacturing jobs are fading away and making new opportunities in healthcare, education, and sales. With a growing need for sales and marketing personnel, the U.S. will continue to lead the way in global commerce while providing Americans with millions of new jobs. However, the average investor faces a choice: play it safe in the regulated market or take a chance in the financial black market. Nevertheless, with a sales culture that is uniquely American, the changing job market presents opportunities for the nation to grow and compete globally, even as it faces fierce competition. The rise and power of intermediaries. In a global economy, the role of intermediaries as gatekeepers of profit is crucial. They bridge the gap between buyers and sellers, open up new markets, and adapt products to local requirements. Even in product design and idea transfer, intermediaries play a significant role. Companies like Haier have market specialists who tailor appliances for overseas markets. As new markets open up, the opportunities for intermediaries will increase. Therefore, the notion of cutting out intermediaries does not hold true on the world stage. The misconception of the WTO. The WTO's disbandment and its effects on trade relations between rich and poor nations is discussed in this book summary, highlighting the possibility of fragmented trade blocs based on economic considerations. Small countries may join regional alliances to enhance their bargaining power, but the outcome is not clear-cut. If only the wealthy few benefit, long-term economic progress is unlikely. The future of business hubs. Technology is making major cities lose their status as economic centers, giving way to lifestyle hubs. Countries like Vietnam, Uruguay, and Costa Rica will become ideal places for cheap and comfortable living and working. However, this trend brings its challenges such as cultural polarization and political isolation. The failure of rich countries to realize that their pollution has damaging effects on poorer countries will destabilize them, creating worldwide problems. Regulating risk in financial markets. As financial crises have increased, regulators are taking notice that risky practices not only harm investors but also the broader populace. With financial markets as networks of intertwined institutions, transparency is difficult but essential. However, excessive regulation may drive traders to seek refuge in countries with lax regulations, resulting in an expansion of unregulated financial markets in offshore locations. Those who remain in regulated markets benefit from the migration of systemic risk to shadowy corners. Climate change impacts on poor nations. The impact of climate change on poor nations is devastating. While wealthy nations can adopt new technologies and clean energy sources to reduce global warming, poor countries can't afford these solutions. They will suffer persistent droughts, failed agriculture, increased poverty, declines in water and air quality. Solutions to this problem require long-term investments and cross-border cooperation. Wealthier nations can help by offering jobs or allowing immigration of displaced individuals. If temperatures continue to rise, poor people will become even poorer, while the rich will get richer. It's time to act now to reduce the impact of climate change on disadvantaged countries. Overcoming short-term thinking. The fragmented nature of global politics hinders the search for long-term solutions. Self-interest prevails, and wealthy nations deprive poorer ones of their educated. Political leaders avoid long-term commitments, despite the benefits they offer. Lengthening terms of office, prioritizing productive policies, and educating future generations could help reform short-term thinking. However, active advocacy from the average person is necessary for genuine reform.
Daniel Altman's Outrageous Fortunes expounds on 12 trends set to impact the world economy, shedding light on the shifting dynamics of the global landscape. From the questionable outlook of China's economy and the possible collapse of the European Union, to the increasing importance of international intermediaries and the shifting role of the United States, Altman presents a comprehensive view of factors that will drive global economic changes. As the book delves into issues such as financial regulation, global warming, the rise of lifestyle hubs, and the necessity for long-term political vision, it leads readers to contemplate their own roles in maintaining a stable and prosperous global economy. Knowledge of these trends will be crucial for understanding and navigating the economic landscape of the future.